All right, hey everyone. Average Guy Finance. I'm Vic.
I'm Darren.
Okay, so
Finance.
so today we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Okay, so
Bitcoin.
is it a good investment? Is it the future? Is it the can't miss investment that's going to, you know, yeah, solve all your problems
Right.
and help you like retire into the sunset?
Yeah. Okay.
Or is it some sort of like scam that you should avoid?
And I said, like, the reason I asked you about your thoughts on Bitcoin was because in the last couple of weeks, two friends of mine have been saying that acquaintances of theirs are quote unquote all in on Bitcoin and that Bitcoin is the future. But when I ask what all in means and when I ask what the future means, I don't. The response I get is
Yeah.
not very clear. So,
So I've seen a lot of people just really excited about like people that I know on Facebook and stuff like that. So it's like I think they just yeah, I was like let's make this video just to say like our opinions on it, and then people can if you agree or disagree,
yeah.
in the comment section, give us your thoughts.
Okay.
So we have basically I came up with 4 different reasons why I think I would avoid Bitcoin and where I don't think it's an investment.
Okay.
Or it's completely against okay.
Yeah.
So, number 1, I would say people aren't getting that there's a difference between owning a technology and having some like intellectual rights to it, like a patent or something, so
Right.
that technology is going to pay you and you have some ownership of it, or just having the hardware associated with a technology that you're using and that hardware is powering the technology.
Okay.
Okay? So people think that, having Bitcoin, by having a token, not even just an imaginary token,
Yeah.
that gives them some sort of ownership on Bitcoin or ownership over the blockchain technology.
Okay.
Like there's something they're thinking that, yeah, this is going to be the future. This is how the monetary system is going to function. And by having this token, that's going to mean something.
Okay.
But I don't really see it, right?
Why don't? Okay,
Okay.
so why don't you see that? So yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, think about it. So let's say you were like a computer technology. Okay, let's think of us as when we were kids in the late '80s, right? And the type, and then the type of computers that we had back then.
Yeah.
It was basically, yeah, this huge chunks of things that you like turn on, and then they sounded like vacuum cleaners.
Yeah.
You powered them with these like floppy disks. That's where all the info was on, right?
Yeah.
So that's computer technology. Computer technology changed the world, absolutely revolutionary.
Yeah.
But the hardware that we were using back then it's a museum item
Okay.
right now, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I see Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, the blockchain technology is useful.
Yeah.
And Warren Buffett says the same thing. He's like, yeah, this is amazing. This is going to be like really good. I don't see anything.
The blockchain being a really an accurate ledger, right?
The blockchain being the valuable part.
Okay.
That's the value. That's right.
I see.
The token associated with it has no value.
Basically that's the floppy disk. is
That's
what
the
you're saying.
floppy disk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Okay.
So point number 1 is that, yeah, it is this new technology and stuff. I don't see how owning it, like 20 years from now, I don't see how owning a Bitcoin, a token that functioned, that was the hardware of the technology, how that's going to be valuable in 20 years.
Okay.
There's going to be something completely different.
Right. Okay. Now explain to me how Bitcoin actually gets its value, because I understand Bitcoin, like I can't wrap my head around it because it's a non-productive asset.
Yeah.
Right. So what makes Bitcoin valuable?
So let's go to like, that's point number 2.
Okay.
Okay, so
Good.
point number 2 is that why I don't think Bitcoin is an investment, because it's not a win-win investment.
Okay.
So a win-win investment is when all the investors together are gonna prosper, right?
Right. Like we all buy into, let's say the West Fraser
Timber
company.
Okay, yeah.
Right. And then all of us as shareholders make money when the company does well.
Yeah.
But with Bitcoin, the only way that you can make money off of it is to sell it to somebody who values it more than you do.
Yeah, it's a closed system. It's a closed system. So if we did this whole Bitcoin experiment or like a crypto experiment with like 10 of our friends or
Yeah.
something, we created a coin between us.
Yeah.
and we were trading, we would quickly realize how ludicrous this is, and
Okay.
it's how no, we're not actually gonna retire off of this. So we need to convince our friends to buy our coins for as much money as they're willing to give us, and more money than we paid for our coins. That's the only way that we'll make money, and it's impossible for all of our friends together to make money together. Yeah,
Okay.
so in that environment, it seems ludicrous. But when in an environment of millions of people participating in this, it might not seem ludicrous because you can't see the bigger picture.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're like, no, I am making money. It's like, I'm making money. My friend just made some money, but you're not realizing, the millionth guy over there losing his shirt. Right.
Yeah.
So it's so that's why I don't like it. It's a win-loss investment because there's no money coming in apart from the investors.
Okay.
Whereas we were talking about the timber company, right?
Yeah.
We own shares of the timber company.
Mm-hmm.
Where does the money come from that pays us back? That pays us our dividends and cash buybacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
It comes from
Them selling timber.
it comes from all those wives complaining to their husbands that their houses aren't big enough, so they need like a renovation, and they're like, we need all this lumber and stuff like that.
Right.
That's where the profits from West Fraser Timber come from.
Okay.
It comes from outside of the company.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's how you make money as an investor.
Right. Okay.
So that kind of goes into like the third reason that I don't like Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like people don't really understand like financial literacy is not very high.
Right.
So it's like so we say, okay, like you were saying, okay, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, they're not productive assets.
Yeah.
So a Bitcoin doesn't do anything. It doesn't. A Bitcoin's not out there mining copper for you or like making a lumber or anything, right?
Yeah.
It's just sitting there.
It's just sitting there.
And so people say, well, so like cash is just like an invisible thing.
And they say gold is the same.
Yeah, and there's like, oh, they're printing lots and lots of cash. It's like, she's like, well, cash is not a good investment. Like we never said it was.
No.
It's like cash is just something that you get and you exchange it for something else.
Yeah.
That's it.
And gold is what? How would you describe gold?
It's an historical store of value.
Okay.
It's not an investment that's going to make you more wealth.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to store the wealth that you already have.
Okay.
So it's not. You wouldn't say it was an investment. It's not an investment that like Warren Buffett would be excited about.
Yeah.
Because it's not gonna make you those like 10-15% returns that you can compound every single year.
Right.
So that's it. People say like, no, Bitcoin's fine, and they compare it with cash and gold.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, and they say, well,
they think it's better than cash. They think it's better than everything.
Yeah. But it's like, okay, well, then they'll say, well, cash has lost like 90% of their value since like 1930.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, we weren't even born anywhere near 1930, so why does that matter to us? It's like I get cash. We get cash into our bank account, and we just quickly decide how to use it.
How to invest.
Some of it's going to go into my living expenses. Some of it's going to go into savings. Some of it's going to investments. It's not going to sit there for 70 years.
Right.
So that's not a problem.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it's like that kind of like the financial illiteracy kind of trips people up.
Yeah.
So like they can't see like those like simple arguments that Bitcoin is not a productive asset. And it's just because cash and gold are also non-productive assets and also not good investments, that doesn't make Bitcoin a good investment.
Yeah.
So when you compare Bitcoin to stuff like stocks and in like an actual businesses, that's how you actually make some money.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So then I guess you go to like point 4, which so people think that this is some sort of like a cultural monetary revolution that's happening.
Yeah, there are a lot of. I think Spike Lee was one of the people who were. There's a commercial with him.
Yeah, he was saying like
touting Bitcoin as.
This is like where all the. He's like, it's the minority's turn now.
Okay.
That's what he was like. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was basically promoting Bitcoin to poor minorities and like black and brown people.
As a way to do what? As a way to like
he got paid to make an ad.
Okay.
No, that's like
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, this is our turn now, blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's feeding into people because people think like there is a problem with the system, and there is. Like there's always been a problems with the system where it's never fair, really, right? There's like
I mean every system is flawed, every system has corruption in it, but this system, when you compare it to any other system in history, is less flawed and more. I think it's beautiful because it allows anybody really to build wealth, right? Our system.
But I think like if people are pointing to like there is unfairness, there's billionaires all over the place, and like our wages are going down, but that doesn't mean that Bitcoin is a solution. Like we kind of understand that there are problems, and there's lots of inequities and stuff.
Right.
That doesn't mean that crypto is some sort of like savior.
No.
Or the people behind crypto are trying to like save the world, or like it's like
and it's interesting that you put it like that, because that's one of the things that I'm noticing about the people who are 100% like bananas about crypto. It's like they're talking about a religion. It's like a and you cannot present.
Oh, there is people who do go that far. Like there's actually like Max Kaiser. He was actually literally doing baptisms.
Oh my god!
at the Bitcoin conference.
Okay.
So it's like it has gone to that level. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's important to remember that there have been times in history that I think we brought this up in one of our other videos. Tulips in the Netherlands were I don't know how that even came about, but people were trading tulips, their houses for tulips that they thought were going to make them rich.
It becomes like a frenzy, and then people just lose perspective and they become irrational.
Yeah.
So
one of Sven Carlin's videos, he was talking to you about shells.
Yeah.
Very recently, people were like shells were a form of currency for people who were, it's just like it just goes to show you that like anything can be kind of looked at as something to trade with, right?
And I think Sven Carlin, so probably like my favorite financial YouTuber, like he was saying like, well, he was asking like, so do you think markets are rational or irrational? Because that's like a debate. Like people, there's economics things like, no, like everything is priced perfectly because the market is rational. It's like, well, the market is full of people. So then that's your answer right there. It's like, well, obviously markets are irrational.
There's no way that a market can be rational. Yeah.
So it's like, when you trade a house for a tulip bulb,
that's irrational.
That's irrationality. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Do we have another point there about the Bitcoin?
No, that's the main 4 points. So it's
So how would you summarize or conclude that just about Bitcoin? Number one, it's a non-productive asset.
Yeah.
So basically, if you buy Bitcoin, the only way that you're going to make money off of it is if somebody else comes along who values it more than you do. So it's almost like waiting for, this is kind of a bad way to say it, but waiting for another fool to come along, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The greater fool theory. And it's like, I just think people really just have to think. It's just because it's like, I know like, because when you stop thinking and you just, and you let kind of hope and optimism take over, that could kind of run away from you, right?
Yeah.
And you start making some like bad decisions. But if you just stop and just kind of think, okay, I'm putting $1,000 into this. How am I going to get my money back? Where is this going to come from? Let's figure this out. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you look at it at an investment like that, I think you'll stay away from the entire crypto system. Or
once you start
the universe.
Once you change your thought process to that, start framing things in that way, it's very, very easy at that when you're looking at things that way to see what a bad investment is and what a good investment is, right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we can put money in crypto if we wanted to. We could. Like we could put like 5%. Like we wouldn't really make too much of a difference. Yeah. Right. But then I was like no, like I still would rather put the 5% into something else. Right. Something I know is gonna like is doing something, is making a product that people want to buy, and then that's it's
Uh-huh.
like I'm still going to go with the stock now. I'm still going to own actual businesses, not
Yeah.
not a token.
And sorry, one more thing to go back to. The other thing that I'm noticing with the people that are bananas about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is there really is a, how do I say this nicely? It seems like they all have the same desire to get rich very, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's what their organizing principle is, to get rich very quickly.
And that's dangerous because, again, when we talk about thinking, where we kind of have that our thinking track is kind of like gone, you know, it's not quite firing because you're thinking, you're so thinking about like the wealth of like, oh, this is gonna like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna finally like get to where I'm gonna go, and
Right.
you're not able to think rationally, right?
Yes.
So it's like
Yeah.
that excitement of all this, that's what's like kind of, I think, derailing people, and like it's a scam. I mean, I think it's a scam, but it's like, if you don't think it's a scam, just put it in the comments and tell me why.
Yeah, tell us why it's not a scam.
Yeah.
Educate us. But yeah. All right.
Cool. All right.
So yeah.
Hope you guys thought that was
maybe we'll do
educational.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you.
See us.
Bye.